welcome to Bouts and Stouts. It is a crisp New Jersey morning on March 8th, 2020. This is your host, Connor McCraren, and it is International Women's Day, so make sure you reach out to your mothers, your sisters, your girlfriends, your wives, your nieces, your grandma. Reach out and make sure you pay your respects, because come on, let's go. This is Bouts and Stouts, so we're going to be talking fights, we're going to be drinking beers, and most importantly, we're going to have a rip-roaring good time here. We got UFC 248 ran late, and we're going to talk about that. We got the fight of the decade so far recap with Zhang Weili. We're obviously going to talk about the Limp Dick main event. That's all I have to say for now. We got my picks. I'm still not positive for now, but the losses are creeping up, so we'll talk about that. Picks for next week for UFC Brazil. Hopefully we make some money. Our beer of the week coming all the way from Escondido, California. Very excited about this beer. When I saw it, I was like, this is mine. This is the one. First can. We've been bottled so far. This is the first can. I'm breaking the mold. I said, I don't know if I want to do cans because I want to keep the bottle caps this time. Keeping the cans, baby. We're going to get our recap, our update on the Bouts and Stouts world champion. Believe it or not, no one's misbehaved this week, so we're not going to have a Jamochaccino of the week. Hopefully pretty soon you guys can start suggesting the Jamochaccinos, but right now it seemed to me everyone behaved. But if I missed anything, you guys can start commenting on YouTube, because my boy Nico, we're up on YouTube, so happy about that. And yeah, no Jamochaccino this week. We will see. So I'm very excited for this episode. I've been waiting all week for it. I was like, I gotta get another one in. But UFC 248, what I want to start with is freaking Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Freaking Zhang Weili, I picked her knockout round one. I thought she was gonna freaking flurry Joanna from the get-go. I wasn't particularly wrong in the fact that I didn't think Zhang was, or I wasn't wrong saying that Zhang wouldn't piece up Joanna, because Zhang did piece up Joanna a little bit. I don't know if you guys have seen Joanna. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Megamind, but pretty much Joanna's like, hey, I'm going to turn into Megamind real quick, and I'm going to be that in the octagon. So Weili literally pieced up Joanna's face. I'm talking forehead, that it made my forehead look small. She looks like fucking... Let me just insert the cranium real quick, and let me just act like I'm the... I don't know if it's the protagonist or the antagonist or just a main side character in the Goonies, but Joanna looks like an alien. She looks like some sort of metamorphosis into some sort of gremlin type alien. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what the word is, but extraterrestrial. Thank you. And what a fight. I was watching at Chickies and Pete's, Philadelphia-based seafood place. Very good sports bar. And I kept freaking having to lean back into my friend. I was like, Esteban, if these guys are slinging ass, every exchange was a punch to the fucking mouth. And I'm very surprised that Joanna survived the onslaught, because every exchange they'd go in, Joanna would throw something, and then Zhang Weili was like, oh yeah, motherfucker, here's a fucking left hook right to the motherfucking face. And Joanna took it like a freaking champion. She is the strawweight queen, self-proclaimed. And they went back and forth in all respects. I thought Joanna would go down. And even it looked like she had a stage 45 tumor coming out of her forehead. She kept blitzing. I mean, I had Joanna winning 3 and 4, pushing the pace, pushing no one's business. And it looked like her head was literally about to explode. I'm not exaggerating here. Like, I'm not being like, oh, I'm the guy that's like, oh, Joanna looks like her head's about to explode, like helium is in. She looked like a humanoid, not very much human, but definitely more humanoid-like. Her head was shaped like I'm going to go a teardrop. I'm going to go teardrop in this one. That's the analogy. But the freaking back and forth, Zhang won the first 2 rounds, in my opinion. She had Joanna on the ropes. It looked like Joanna was very similar to the Valentina fight that Joanna had, just overpowered, overmatched. And then there was a point where, bang, Joanna said, fuck you and fuck this. I'm Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Have you seen my Instagram follower account? I'm going to start piecing you up. So first rounds went to Zhang Weili. Then 3 and 4, I'm no judge. I'm better than Joe Solis, but I'm no judge. 3 and 4 went to Joanna. And then the 5th round, I believe it was 2-2 going in, and Weili said, fuck this. I got the entire country of China on my back. She did it for her city, and she got the dub for me. So I wasn't mad at the decision. I would think it was perfectly good. And fight of the decade so far. Fight of the roaring 20s so far. I'm talking every punch. I don't know how Joanna was still up. Every punch, Zhang would go in. I was like, oh! I'll do the fadeaway. I was like, oh! Afraid my boy Esteban would just hold me. I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is what it's all about. They announced the scores. They announced the scores for Zhang Weili, and I just looked at the screen and I go, wow. And my boy Juan, my boy Junsu, goes, well, you didn't think that was the right decision by the judges? I go, no, man. I'm just saying wow, because this is what the sport's all about. It was one of those fights where you have to take a step back and you go, this is why I watch the sport. You're not getting this freaking action from any other sport. It's very similar to Paul Felder and Dan Hooker, where it's just these two gladiators are going out for the title this time, and you just left it on. You have to respect anyone who goes in the cage. And it just made me happy to be a fan. That co-main event saved the night, and it made me feel really good to be a fan. It made me really good to do this podcast, because I'm only doing this podcast because I'm so passionate about the sport, and that was one of the reasons why I was just left saying, wow. That was the only thing I could say. It was crazy. It left Joanna looking like literal Megamind. Nico, try to get a picture of Joanna and Megamind side by side, because it was uncanny. I'm not just saying anything. And then it kind of pisses me off to say this, but now we got to transition to the main event, which I was more excited for going in. I mean, I got to take a little beer break because my body is going into some weird mode right now. Oh, man, I can't wait to talk about that. But, yeah, Romero versus Adesanya. All week, my coworkers are like, who's fighting this weekend? Who's fighting this weekend? I go, the Soldier of God versus the Last Stylebender to the death. And they're like, what is this, an anime? It says WWE? What do you mean the Soldier of God? I'm like, he's the Soldier of God. You don't understand. So, right off the gate, I don't know how to attack this, because Yoel, the fight ended with Adesanya beating Yoel by clear decision. And I could see why Israel won, because Israel fought the smart fight. He was the champion. He said, fuck you, I'm just going to do leg kicks, outstrike you, outpoint you, and he won that way. Yoel's mindset was, I'm going to stand in the middle of the ring, middle of the octagon, and if you want to throw down, I'm right here. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to be right here if you're ready to throw down. And Izzy goes, yeah, I'm not really going to follow those tactics. I'm just going to kick that leg because you're just giving it to me and you're just taking it. Yoel goes, I really can't feel any of your legs, so you can try kicking me as much as you want. He's like, I can't feel you, boy. He didn't say that, but that's what he sounds like. So Izzy kicking his legs, getting points on the judges' scorecard. Yoel is saying, oh, let me just stand here. You can kick my leg, and then I'm going to throw this freaking Mjolnir of a left hook at your face, and we're going to see how that goes. And I don't think Yoel was ever in danger. That was the big thing going away. initially when I was at Chicky and Pete's, they cut the sound because it was after 1 p.m. and it was like last call and they tried to get everyone out, but the main pay-per-view was on main event. So I had to watch the main event with the sound off. At first I was upset. At first I was like, why the hell is the sound off? But then I go, you know what? Now I get to watch this fight pretty unbiasedly. I had no commentary. I just got to watch the fight as a fan and scored a little bit, whatever. And it seemed like Yoel was more out there to prove that he was the top dog than try to statistically win the fight. Because Yoel would just stand there, and whenever Izzy would engage with other than a leg kick, Yoel would punch that dude right in the face, and it'd be ugly. Like, Yoel's power right off the bat, first strike. You guys all saw it. He stood there, first round, just standing there, hands up, not moving an inch. And Izzy danced around him. There wasn't a strike thrown for at least the first 2 minutes. I don't know how long it went for, but for at least the first 2 minutes. So it's like, if you're going to engage me, I'm going to fuck you up. And Izzy goes, all right, I'll engage you, but I'm going to kick your leg so I'm not in danger. And even though Izzy did that, he gets no respect points from me. Like, I was livid because I thought Yoel won the fight just by damage, because Yoel was damaging Izzy, and Izzy, he can say he damaged his leg, but the thing is, it wasn't very, impactful on the watchers, especially with the sound off. And then freaking Yoel does the cha-cha in the post-fight interview, so I don't know how damaging those leg strikes were. But it seemed like Yoel was ready to bang and not win. If Yoel wanted to statistically win by the judges, he would have gone in. But he definitely made Izzy, and I don't want to say look like a bitch, because anyone who goes in the octagon, I have full respect for it, and it's just I never want to call someone who goes in the octagon a bitch. However, it looked like Izzy was not willing to engage because he knew the consequences of Yoel's power. If that's me calling him a bitch, then that's up to you to decide. However, it looked like Izzy knew from the get-go, if I go in, I'm going to get devastated with Thor's hammer to the face, which happened in the first round, and it kept happening. Whenever Izzy would throw something significant other than a leg kick, Yoel was popping that motherfucker in the mouth. So I could see where Izzy goes. Izzy's side is, this is my thesis. Izzy's side was, I'm going to outpoint you. I'm going to kick you in the leg. I'm going to win that way because I'm champion. I want to hold on to this belt. Yoel was, I'm right here, motherfucker. You can come here because you're arguably the most diverse creative striker, according to Joe Rogan and Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas is the linebacker. Joe Thomas is the offensive lineman for Cleveland Browns. Luke Thomas is the striking expert, breakdown expert. So according to Joe Rogan and Luke Thomas, Stylebender is this creative, diverse striker of the likes the UFC middleweight division has ever seen. And Yoel goes, okay, Mr. Creative, Mr. Swiss Army Knife of Attacks, I'm going to stand in the middle and let's see what you got. And Izzy used one tactic, and that was a leg kick. And that won him the fight. And I mean, I could be wrong here. However, it just left me disappointing for both fighters because I had Yoel going in. Kind of chalked that up as a loss. I'm not happy about it, even though I thought Yoel did more damage. But Izzy definitely lost, or he didn't lose me as a fan because I'm a fan. However, he needs to perform next fight for me to have the love that I had for him when he was rising up through the ranks. And Yoel, he's got to come back because I was ready for him. I was telling my friend Soldier of God I had him by knockout. I thought I did think it was going to happen, but maybe if there was more engagement, it would happen. But you can't really play the what if game. So we got to ask what's next, how we move on from here, because that's the only thing we can do is move on from here, because that was such a very blue balls limp dick performance. It was like if you've ever been to like a 8th grade dance, even a high school dance, or like a bar mitzvah, it's just the stereotypical girls on one side, guys on the other side, who's going to meet in the middle of the dance. And it felt like Izzy was on the girl's side, and Romero was on the guy's side, and there was no tango. There was no tango. It takes two to tango, so I can't just put the blame on either person. However, they just seemed nervous to talk to each other, and that was it. That's why no one went home with the cash money. I mean, Stylebender's got his fight next with Paulo Costa, the Eraser. I can't wait for that. I was very excited. I thought it was going to be more like the fight should have been tonight. I think Eraser is going to go in there. If he can eat the shots that he took versus Romero, then I think Eraser early call will win. But we will see. That's only because I'm have that recency bias towards Izzy disappointing. So we'll see. We'll see it goes away. But early call, I got Costa beating Izzy. Now, Yoel, what does he do? He has to what he's going to do now, but he said he's more motivated than ever. I think Yoel should fight Jared Cannonier, because Jared Cannonier is coming up through the rankings. I believe he's a top 5 guy. I could be wrong. And we want to know if Jared Cannonier is legit. He was supposed to fight Robert Whittaker. That got pulled out. And, Cannonier tore his biceps or pulled something, and then he blamed Darren Till for that shit. So I don't know where Yoel goes. Maybe no, we can't do Darren Till because Darren Till talks about how scared of Yoel he is. Yoel needs Costa to beat freaking Adesanya, and then Yoel needs to beat someone soon. He took no damage, so he should be able to fight soon. He needs to fight someone soon, maybe a Gastelum. And if Yoel can put away Gastelum, then that'll look good against Izzy, but Yoel needs quick victories by the time Izzy and Costa fight, so that he can jump right in that. I don't know if Dana is going to like the Romero rematch, because he did put all the blame on Romero, which I think is hot garbage. I mean, it literally takes two to tango. How about you be a little open-minded about this, Dana White? You started to win me over recently, and do not pull that shit where you single out fighters. That's fucking annoying. Sorry, that's my little hot piece real quick. Don't do that. Yeah, and for Zhang Weili, I think her next fight is going to be the winner of Rose Namajunas and Andrade at 249. When I talked about that card, that'll bring up later. That's Stack Central, baby. And for Joanna, the only thing you can really do after looking like Megamind is to take time off and focus on your Instagram modeling career and potentially fight again. But, I mean, you put on a show. It could have gone either way. I gave it to Zhang. So there's no retirement talk. There's no anything like that. You're a freaking true champion. Just take some time off, recover your head, and then we'll see where that goes. Now, I got to talk about our picks. Picks from last week. I'll bring up the board. I got a little board ski. I was 2-1 going into last night, but we got Romero. I got wrong, so I chalked that up for the loss. We got Zhang Weili. We got her for the win, so we got that. My boy Drakkar Klose got knocked the absolute fuck out. I recommend anyone go and watch that fight. I'll talk about that as soon as I put this down. And then Sugar Sean O'Malley picked the win. So I'm now 4-3. I don't know if that makes me reputable, but it puts me right down the middle. I think Vegas is doing a really good job setting their odds. Not that I'm going off of Vegas odds, but it helps make it even. Anyways, freaking Beneil Dariush gets hit from freaking Drakkar Klose, gets wobbles a little bit, boom, boom. They're going at it, slinging dick. They're just slinging ass. Everything they got in their punches. Beneil wobbles, takes a step back. He's crumbling. All of a sudden, overhand, knocks freaking Drakkar Klose back. He's fouling. And oh my God, the follow-up punch to finish Drakkar Klose. He took a trip to the Shadow Realm, and then he said, hey, Shadow Realm, is there a deeper Shadow Realm? Went to that Shadow Realm. And that's where Drakkar Klose is, mouth guard hanging out, eyes wide open. He doesn't even know what country he's in. And that's how that fight went. Sugar Sean O'Malley came back. What a guy. He's like freaking literally knockout round 1. So he's back. I'm very excited for him. He will probably rise up the ranks in his division. I'm excited for that. I'm not really excited for my picks. 4-3. It's okay. I'm a very competitive guy, but I'll take it for now. It's very exciting. Other than the main event, the card was awesome, and I'm just freaking Zhang Weili and Joanna to freaking kick off International Women's Day on Sunday. It was fantastic, and part of the reason why I watch the sport. So thank you for that. But now we got our picks for UFC Fight Night 170 in Brazil. Kevin Lee versus Charles Oliveira is the main event. And before I get into any of that, I want to talk about Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee has been on my shit list for a little bit because I watched him in Milwaukee. UFC Milwaukee versus Raging Al. And he was all high and muddy. He was high and muddy. And he thought he won that fight when clearly Al whooped his ass for 3 rounds. It was 3-2. It was close. But then he goes on Ariel Helwani's podcast and talks about how Khabib and Tony are whack, how Conor's whack, how everyone in the division's whack, and he's on a different wavelength. It's like, bro, you haven't been doing so hot. You're not that good when it comes to your recent performances. You knocked out a wrestler in Gregor Gillespie. I forgot his name. I think it's something weird, like Bless or something. But he knocked out Gregor Gillespie. Beautiful 1-2 kick combo. Beautiful. No one's taking away that head kick. But let's not forget, you lost to Dos Anjos. You lost to Al. Who'd you beat? He beats up on Edson Barboza. I get a letter from my friend saying, oh, you got to watch out, the Kevin Lee show. I'm like, what do you mean, Kevin Lee show? You get choked out by Tony Ferguson in guard, triangle. And then you go proceed to tell you Tony Ferguson's whack? No. How about you win a couple? Because right now you're going off of the biggest hype thing Kevin Lee has done has been piece up Michael Chiesa and talk about his mom in the press conference, in my opinion. Other than that, he's been a hype show. So I don't want him talking smack on other fighters until we get some consistent, reputable wins. And other than that, I'm a big fan. I think Kevin Lee is fantastic. But let's not act like you're greater than who you are, because you've been on a skid, sir. You've been on a skid. So Oliveira's no freaking no picnic in the park in Brazil. He holds down that city. Do Bronx. And I'm taking Charles Oliveira. I'm taking him, and I'm taking finish. Round 4 submission. Very similar to the Dos Anjos fight. I think Lee has very muscular, but I think that will lead to his downfall being in he can't finish Oliveira. And I think Oliveira takes his back. 4th round submission, a la Rafael dos Anjos. Then we have Maia versus Gilbert Burns. So Damian Maia, he's just a 40-year-old backpack. He's a koala bear. He'll hold on to you. He'll put you in his web. Burns has been on a tear. Burns is, I think, 3 or 4 win streak. He's been killing it. However, Damian Maia, I think he's still got some juice in him. He's coming off a win on Ben Askren. I think he takes this. I'm not too confident about it, but I'm putting in my victory for Damian Maia via submission. I think he gets pieced up holy hell on the feet by Gilbert Burns. And that's that. But so far I got Charles Oliveira and Damian Maia, Brazilians. And now I got Renato Moicano versus Damir. I think it's Hachovich. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Renato Moicano coming off, I think he got pieced the fuck up by Jose Aldo. I don't know who else beat him up. But I think he comes back. I don't know this Damir Hachovich guy. I'm going to be honest. I'm doing this straight off of name recognition. But Renato Moicano, he was on a blitz tear when Brian Ortega finished him. But then I don't know what's happening, but I'm taking Moicano here in his home country. I'm guessing Damir Hadjovic is not Brazilian, just based off of his name is fucking Damir. So I'm taking Moicano there. But what I'm really excited for is the return of Johnny Walker versus Nikita Krylov, the Ukrainian miner. You can't make this up. We got the miner versus Johnny Walker himself. Johnny Walker coming off that knockout TKO stoppage from Corey Anderson. But I think he returns in his home country and obliterates Nikita Krylov round 1 knockout. And I think he propels himself back into contender talk. I don't think he's quite ready to face the likes of, let's say, a Dominic Reyes or John Jones. We'll speak to that later. Updates on that. But I think he's good to handle the lower end gatekeepers of the division. I think Johnny Walker finishes him round 1. I'm very excited. So just to recap, to plug in these picks. So get rid of these picks ready because I am in the positive. Don't sleep on my positive record. We got Charles Oliveira submission round 4. We got Maia decision 30-27. We got Moicano versus Damir Hadjovic. Freaking. We'll go decision for Moicano. And then we got knockout round 1, Johnny Walker and Nikita Krylov. Shout out to Marina Moroz from Ukraine, a.k.a. Iron Lady, trains at American Top Team. I'm just a fanboy, and she's taking on Myro Bueno Silva. I'm not plugging in for a pick. I just want to shout out. I think she's a good little, I'm not going to call her prospect, but I think she's a good little vet. And I think I'm excited for her to put on a performance and all that. So that is UFC Fight Night 170 Brazil. And that leads us into our beer of the week, our featured beer of the week. Coming all the way from Escondido, California. So some people, when they wake up, they brew a nice cup of joe. Some people, when they wake up, they put on the kettle, warm up a nice Earl Grey tea. Some people go in the fridge and they pour themselves a nice glass of whole milk. You know what I do? I pour myself a nice Stone Brewery Espresso Totalitarian Imperial Russian Stout. What a name. What a name. When I saw this in the liquor store, I was like, this is the one. This is the Stouts for Bouts and Stouts. It is literally the Stone Espresso Totalitarian Imperial Russian Stout. Coming from Escondido Stone Brewery. If you guys don't know where Escondido is, it is that inland San Diego brewery. Big fan. Coming at you. I'll show you guys. Coming in our can version. First can. I was very excited. I love the gargoyle logo coming from Stone Brewery. Big fan. You know what I'm a bigger fan of? 10.6 motherfucking percent, baby. Coming percent. And they have an entire paragraph to describe this thing. And I don't want to read into it because I'm not trying to bore my fans, but they also have a little excerpt on the box that I'll give you guys. Finally, custom crafted dictatorial for the working people scattered around the world. It just talks about how the Imperial Russian Stouts don't actually get their name from being brewed in Russia, but it's originated in England to impress the Russian court. Believe it or not, their catchphrase is, to further bespoke the bejesus out of this, we brewed with a beautiful espresso roast coffee. Pretty much it's freaking beer with an espresso shot in it. I like it, wakes me the fuck up, gets me going. 10.6. If we go on Beer Advocate, it's I believe it is an outstanding rating. Let me find this one for you. But I like it. I like it. Very dark. All these stouts are freaking dark, opaque, if you will. Yeah, we got a 91 rating. It is ranked 4,520th beer in the world. I mean, it's pretty high considering how many beers there are, but, it's nothing to write home about. I'm not going to, call mom, be like, hey, Jane, this is a really good beer. But it's a good beer. I'll tell all you guys all about it. I like it. I recommend it. If you like espressos, if you like the taste of espressos, get this fucking beer. If you like 10.6 in your alcohol and your beer sipping on it, get this beer. If you want to wake up for fantasy football come fall time and you need a beer to wake you up, get you going, get this beer. If you want to feel like a dictator, if you want to bring it back to the czars, Anastasia, drink this beer. Let's go. If you're from San Diego, if you're my boy Nico hooking me up, producer of the year, get this beer. So yeah, beer advocate coming from you from San Diego. Average rating is a 4.1 out of 5. And just don't sleep on the 10.6. That's all I'm going to say. Other than that, I like it. It definitely passes because I run on the pass-fail system. And it makes life easier. Definitely passes. I will let you know if I drink something and I absolutely fucking hate it. And it'll get fails. And not many beers do, but when it happens, they do. I'm so in for recommendations. My boy Nico, he's the head producer. He just put us on Instagram, and we should get a YouTube and Instagram. So if you guys want to comment on those, on suggestions, or slide in the DMs, then we get some fan questions and we get some suggestions for beers. I'm about to unveil right now, behold or not, on Wednesdays, Thursdays, middle of the week. We are about to one day is in the middle of the week, maybe even a Tuesday if I'm really spicy. We're gonna have a middle of the week show where it's not just stouts. So Sunday I'm gonna keep stouts going to review, and in the middle of the week it's gonna be any beer that's recommended to me, because some people are like, oh, how do you feel about this beer? Blah blah blah. But it's not a stout. I'll be like, hey man, middle of the week. It's gonna be informal. It's gonna be more ranty and a lot more opinion based. I try to stick to not too much. I try to stick to hot take nonfiction on this. Maybe we'll get more rants in the middle of the week. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm having a lot of fun with this podcast, and thank you for listening if you do listen. But I'll be back every Sunday for sure. But now, let's get into our update on our bouts and stouts. World champion Nico, bring up the picture. Let's bring a violent Bob Ross into the mix. He is our world champion. He took the belt off Steve Garcia. And then I heard the inaugural championship happened last week. So we're going to follow him every week until eventually the winner of the belt is in a UFC pay-per-view. And then I'm going to fly out to San Diego, where this Imperial Stout is from, because our head producer Nico's in San Diego. And we're going to have a stout party where every beer mentioned beforehand we're going to drink. And we're going to do a fight companion for that main event. But Luis Pena, he called out on his Instagram publicly Yancy Medeiros. So Yancy Medeiros, I saw him fight Cowboy Oliveira live. I'm not sure where. I think it was in Detroit. I think it was UFC Detroit, and he's a freaking grizzly vet, Yancy Medeiros, that Hawaiian Thunder. Maybe if we get a UFC Hawaii, I don't know. He called him out for UFC Fight Week, or International Fight Week in Vegas. So we're looking at a July fight time for our Bouts and Stouts World Championship. I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully Luis Pena can get in there. And hopefully we can rise up the ranks and eventually get that title fight that Bouts and Stouts deserves, baby. Let's go. Jamochaccino of the week. We do not have any. I was searching because I like to say who's misbehaving. Everyone behaving well. And so no Jamochaccino of the week. I was very excited for one because I like calling people out. But no, we're good. We're pretty much solid for that. Current events, we got Brian Ortega getting escorted out of the arena. out of the arena at UFC 248. I believe he pieced up or slapped around Korean Zombie's translator, who's somehow a famous rapper. I don't know how they mix up. I don't know the exact politics behind that, but I believe the translator was talking to Brian Ortega, and Brian Ortega was like, fuck you, I'm going to piece you up. Then gets escorted out by security. I don't know the drama. All I know is Brian Ortega was supposed to fight Korean Zombie, pulled out. I don't know. I thought they made up, but there's more drama now. I think Brian Ortega was slated to fight against Zabit Magomed Sharipov. But then Zabit posts about how Ortega's not going to fight him, or he's not going to fight. So I don't know, at 249. So I don't know if Ramadan's going to kick in. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But what I'd like to see is freaking Korean Zombie versus Max Holloway. And then the winner fight Volkanovski. That'd be a fight. I think we all wanted to see Korean Zombie versus Max, and I think that's the fight to make. I wouldn't mind seeing because I don't know if Ortega's out against Zabit, because Zabit's legit. I wouldn't mind seeing a Zabit Yair or Brian Ortega or Yair Rodriguez. That'd be something to watch. And we're not sleeping on Calvin Kattar. But I'm excited for the featherweight division. It seems like every division is freaking deep, and there's contenders, and I'm very excited for it. Other news, we got Khabib, Tony coming up in a month. I saw somewhere that the MMA God sacrificed the main event of Yoel versus Izzy so we can get a proper Tony and Khabib fight, which cracks me up and makes me happy. I think that'd be hilarious. But no, I like that concept. And I'm so excited. And right now, early pick, I'm taking Tony submission. Pass out. Because I don't think Khabib taps. But we'll see. Because no one fights like Tony. And I don't know if you can put him away. You can drop his ass. You can easily drop his ass. But we'll see. That's early. That's going to be in a month. I don't want to get into that now. I'm bringing up the UFC 249 card. Have we talked about that? Number one, Khabib versus Tony. Fight of the century. How long must the freaking MMA community wait? Then we got co-main event, Jessica Andrade, Rose Namajunas, the rematch of Rose getting slammed on her head. The third fight is the rematch between Magomed Ankalaev and the Hulk, Ian Cutelaba. Yeah, that was from a couple episodes. Yeah, they're running it back. UFC seldom does this. I'm very excited they're going to run back. I'm locking in my pick for Magomed right now. So Magomed's taking that fight. But very excited to see the rematch because hot blood. I mean, we saw Ian freaking run into Magomed beforehand. We get to see Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Hernandez. I think Islam Makhachev takes care of business. I've never been an Alexander Hernandez fan. He can relax, and I think he gets humbled, and I think he gets sent down the contender rabbit hole at 155. I hope he proves me wrong, though, because I'm not exactly an Islam Makhachev fan. But we'll see. And then we got Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar, baby. We got that featherweight action. We got Jeremy Stephens. He's coming off the loss to Yair Rodriguez off the eye poke fiasco, and then the rematch, and then we'll see who won. I thought Jeremy Stephens had a point of why he won, but now we get Calvin Kattar coming off the loss to Zabit. He's kind of known as that gritty guy who maybe if the fight was one round longer, he would have beat Zabit. So, and Zabit beat Jeremy Stephens. So those are just some contenders that are about to get in. I'm very excited for that fight. I'm very excited for the card. I'll be in New Jersey, some sort of bar in New Jersey watching that fight. Very excited for that. More importantly, rumors. In the rumor mill, we got Jones Reyes 2. So John Jones versus Dominic Reyes 2. I'm taking Jones in the rematch because I think Jones will be that tactician where he'll see Reyes coming for that ass, because Reyes came for that ass. And I think Reyes fought the best fight that Dominic Reyes could do. And I think Jones avoided it. And I don't think John Jones fought to the best of his ability. That's my early mindset on that. But I'm happy that there's talks that John Jones and Dominic Reyes too, because they needed a rematch, because a lot of people, I think Reyes took that. So I'm happy about the rematch, so there can be no drama, because they're fighting right after. And then we got Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker. This is a unbelievable opportunity for Dan Hooker, because I think he got let off the hook by the refs in that Paul Felder fight. If he can beat Dustin Poirier, that puts him in line, right in line for a title fight. If he beats Dustin Poirier, I think Dustin Poirier pieces him up with his boxing, and I think it's just a decision. I think it's 5 rounds. I don't know when they would fight, but I think it's a 5-round beat down by Dustin Poirier on Dan Hooker, and I just think he's outmatched. I don't think Dan Hooker's that technical. I think he's just a gritty dude. This is no disrespect. I think he's just a gritty dude that Dustin Poirier is just going to pick apart. And that's it. Usually right now I'd like to get into some fan questions, but I don't think we have any fan questions yet. So put them in YouTube comments, put them in the Instagram comments. If you want to DM us, DM the questions on the Instagram. Or if you want to email us at boutsandstouts@gmail.com. Fucking email fan questions, email beer suggestions. Nico and I are aggressively pursuing all inputs of communication, so let us know how we can help. But it's been a good time. It's been a good Sunday, and I'm happy to do this. I always have fun. I want to engage as much as I can, and I'm happy that I'm doing this. And for those of you watching, thank you, and cheers. Appreciate you. Happy International Women's Day, everybody.